And here's why. President Trump gave up a life that anybody would envy to come to office. He didn't come to the office and bullhorn himself into office. He came into office by a party of people that wanted him to be in office and gave him assurances that they will be there to support him to come into office. So in any event, he did going through the election, and I think the first term was staging everything. Given how far, deep, and wide the corruption is, it wasn't going to be drained and cleaned up instantly. It was going to take time. So even though I am disappointed that there weren't more perp walks, if you will, during his first term, and my feeling is that the stage was set for what's coming in the second term. Trump also has been telegraphing for a long time now that mail-in voting, that the voting system was going to be corrupted. He is fully aware of what goes on during the election cycles. So to me, knowing that he is somewhat intelligent, if not brilliant, I happen to think he's brilliant. He knew it was coming. He was prepared, and he had systems and people in place to monitor what's going on. That's another thing. Also, in order for our country to transition kind of back to what our country was founded on, which is the Constitution, we the people, where we're in control, not them, you have to have a majority of the people awake to what's going on. If you don't have enough people awake to what's going on, it's going to be tumultuous, it's going to be chaotic, and it's not going to be as effective as it needs to be. So a lot of what's playing out has to play out so people can see it. And a lot of what we're doing has to be done legally and through our justice system so that people can see it and realize there is a justice system in place that keeps things fair and balanced. Granted, there's corruption up and down and across the spectrum, so we're going to have to kind of weed through that. But again, all this is being exposed to those people, to we the people, those people that have had faith, but maybe their reality has been skewed such that they just don't see it. So in my mind, everything's kind of playing. If he would have won in a landslide, which he did, if he would have won in a landslide, the shell of a presidency by Joe Biden and Kamala, nothing would have really come from that. And what he needed to do in the second term would have probably met more resistance than necessary. But going through this exercise of exposing them for what they are and what they've done will wake more and more people up to what's going on. And in the second term, the cleanup and the transition will be easier, because those that will be fighting it, which are the military-industrial complex, the criminal elite people, those that want to govern and rule over everybody, they'll be far outnumbered. So to me, it had to play out this way, and I guess in many ways that's why I'm not worried. So I have the utmost faith that the justice system that we're going to be leveraging, with Rudy Giuliani kind of helping spearhead along with the rest of the team around our president, are going to expose what's going on. And I think everything that we've seen from testaments of people on the ground that have been exposed to the criminal activity around our voting system, those people that have been testifying and playing testament to what they're seeing and what's happened, is not surprising. And my guess is that kind of corruption has been in play for decades now, across the board. Every election that needed to be won was won, and it was skewed to their advantage. I have to think that's what keeps the Pelosi's in power, the Mad Maxines in power, puts Ocasio-Cortez in power, the criminal terrorist, offspring of Ilhan Omar keeps them in power. I mean, they all got reelected into their positions, even though they've been completely exposed for what they are. So the system's corrupt, and we, the people, want to believe that we have a voice and our vote means something. If number one, if Trump doesn't win this election, then it will show that our votes truly don't mean anything. The whole system of faith that we live on will be completely burned to the ground, and we will completely destroy our union and our constitutional republic. It will be, if he doesn't get this ship turned, and he legitimately gets the second term that he deserved. So on many fronts, I have faith that the system has to play out the way it's playing out, that it will be overturned, and life will be good. So for anybody out there that's on the edge and needs to be talked off the edge, just keep these things in mind, that a lot of what you're seeing had to play out the way it's playing out. So that's probably the biggest message. The other thing you got to keep in mind is that the media have no say in officially calling an election. They don't. I mean, they can give you their opinion, which is really all it is. Their opinion is that, Joe Biden has won the election. Okay, good for you. It means nothing. Don't let them calling the election, disturb you any way whatsoever. The way a presidency is won is that each state and county vote, and the popular vote designates an electoral person to ultimately place that vote towards that popular vote, and those electoral college votes are what get tallied up to select a president. Now, there is something called a faithless elector, and this is all constitutional. This is the way it works. And this all happens in January, by the way. The electoral college, the electors, officially put their votes for who their people have popularly voted for. And that happens the beginning of January. So nothing is in the books yet. Nothing. I mean, all we're going through right now is just tallying votes, which are supposed to have been completed on election night. Period. Full stop. So we're already doing things that are illegal up to this point. And I think the Supreme Court is going to be a key player in legitimizing and ultimately ruling on what should happen. So that's why, getting that Supreme Court justice in there behind Ruth Bader Ginsburg was critically important, because, again, Trump, POTUS, knew this was coming, knew this election was going to get contested, and we had to have a ninth Supreme Court justice to make sure there wasn't any ties in the voting process, in the legal process. So anyway, so just bear in mind how the voting process works, what the electoral college is all about, when that takes place. The media have no say in it whatsoever. We all know the media hates Trump. We all know the media desperately can't have Trump in office, because that's going to bring their world down too. So them calling for Joe Biden just makes common sense. You kind of knew they were going to do that, right? So that's why that means nothing to me whatsoever. Anyway, so remind yourself of the rallies President Trump did. Remind yourself of the rallies Biden did. Remind yourself of all the things he's done for the past 4 years, above and beyond anything any president has ever done. I mean, it was just unfathomable how much positive things he's brought to this country. So it all had to be shown. It all had to be exposed. We're going through what we need to go through. Hold the faith and know the right thing's going to happen. Now, let's just say, hypothetically, even though I just don't see this happening at all. But let's say that 0.001 possibility, he isn't able to right the ship. There's way too much corruption for POTUS and the legal team to overcome. Let's just assume that. We did retain the Senate. We did gain a tremendous number of House seats. We didn't get, it doesn't look like we're going to get the majority in the House, but we're nearly 50% of the House. So we're going to have a much stronger voice in the House. We still have the Senate. I think Pelosi's antics have kind of worn thin on the House, and somebody else is going to replace her as Speaker of the House. Someone that might be a little bit more amiable, someone more open to negotiation, if you will. So there's a lot of good things happening on that front. Now, obviously, getting POTUS, getting President Trump back in office to hold for his second term, those things being in play, the Senate and the House, and POTUS having his second term like he's supposed to, that just means his second term should be a lot better and a lot even more optimistic and productive than even his first term. So these are all good things. So for those of you on social media that I've seen that are losing the faith, they're on the edge, they're looking for, some words of encouragement to bring you back, take that for what it is. All right, it's going to be okay. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there while it was kind of top of mind and while I was seeing things out there. Love to hear your feedback and your thoughts, but keep your head up, and this coming year, this next coming 3-4 years, it's going to be wonderful. So stay safe, Patriots.